Hi everyone, well I'm back home again after being in Europe. If you've been following me in my newsletter or on Instagram or on Facebook, then you'll know that I've been away for a little while and I've just been really enjoying a little bit of me time and really working on what I do when I go away, which is hiking and skiing and meeting up with my family, which has been absolutely wonderful. Both my children are over in Europe at the moment, so that was part of my excuse for going. And I'm really conscious that many women who come onto the My Menopause Transformation programs, there's so many changes that they have to adjust to in midlife, and some of those changes are with empty nest syndrome. Kids are leaving home, going off and finding their own way in the world, or staying at home, which can be equally problematic. And we're often going through changes at work, let alone going through the change, which of course I'm referring to menopause changes. So there's a lot going on in the life of women as they come through their 50s. I've just got off the course call this morning. I run a CPD course for health professionals. I've got doctors and nurses and nutritionists and physiotherapists and therapists, and they're coming onto the course. I get them to do a little bit of case study work whereby they're working with clients once they've come towards the end of the course. And it was fascinating as I was listening to some of their case studies over the past couple of weeks, and health practitioners from around the world talking about their clients. And what really struck me was the similarities between all of their problems and their symptoms and how they're feeling are all the same around the world. And this is really interesting to me because there's such we're all the same in terms of coming through this stage of life. And when we look at it through the life course, we can see and understand how much our stressful lives have to contribute to our menopause symptoms. And I keep reiterating that with so many women. Symptoms don't start yesterday. They happen 30 years ago as we're coming through our lives. We've got so much going on, not only at home but also in the workplace, and there's a lot happening in terms of all the juggling that we have to do. Many women are looking after parents, elderly parents. They might still have children at home. I know that it's school holidays here in New Zealand with the Easter break, and so there's a lot happening in the lives of women, and it's really hard for them to look after themselves. But as we come through our 50s, that's a vulnerable time for our health. And when we do have a lot of stress going on in the workplace or at home, and we're just not able to care for ourselves, then things start to happen with us, with our symptoms. The pituitary-thyroid-adrenal balance gets out of balance, basically, and of course this contributes to our symptoms. Over the month of April, I'm having a focus on menopause in the workplace, and I don't mean that from a legislative perspective, but women looking after themselves. How do we manage our stress? For example, when we're stressed, we're using up, the adrenal glands use up a lot of vitamin C. So one of the first things I did when I came home from Europe was to put citrus in my fruit bowl and certainly start getting on track with having a lot more vitamin C as I got busier as I came home. And also the thing about stress is that it affects, not only does it affect the liver, but it affects our heart. And with post-menopause heart disease being the number one concern for women as they come into their post-menopause years, we have to look after our blood pressure. Our blood vessels are changing as we come through menopause, as estrogen is declining, and our blood vessels get a little bit stiffer, which is why some of you feel less flexible and you feel like you've got aches and pains. So we need to be eating foods that reflect or that minimize that risk of vascular stiffness. So I was really excited when I came home because my tomato plant was full of tomatoes, and over the Easter weekend I'm going to be making my beautiful Italian tomato sauce mix, which I have in the recipe book in the MyMT program. And these are the sorts of things that we can be doing, particularly when we have a few days off work. Some of you might be going away, but some of you might be using that time to just catch up, restore some of your energy. I can't emphasize that enough. It's important that we stop and think about what is exhausting us. Yes, we can blame menopause. Yes, we can blame not sleeping, but what else is going on in our lives? What's all the stress that we're facing at work? What's going on in the home? Are we always busy, always active? Perhaps you work inside all day, and therefore when you have a few days off like the Easter break, you need to get outside. You need to do a little bit of aerobic exercise, go for a walk, go for a cycle, and just try and balance up what's happening to you during your week. Perhaps some of you are trying to do too much. I'm often going on about doing too much exercise, which is exhausting you when you're not sleeping. And if you're not sleeping, you're not recovering. So we have to get on top of our sleep, and we have to start giving our body the nutrients that it needs. And that's what I have, all of those solutions I have for you in the My Menopause Transformation programs. They are on sale for the month of April. I'm having a focus on menopause at work, so I'm going to be talking about stress. I'm going to be talking about nutrition. I'm going to be talking about balancing up our blood sugars, and certainly we have to be really careful about how much fasting we're doing. If we're in a job that's quite physically demanding, you need your energy. And I'm also going to be talking about the thyroid in terms of how stress affects the thyroid. So watch out for my articles, watch out for my newsletter, and watch out for my emails, because I'd love you to join me just to get on top of some of those issues. My focus is on lifestyle solutions. Doesn't matter if you're on hormone replacement therapy or antidepressants or other medications. That's between you and your doctor and not me. So my focus is on the lifestyle science that I've studied as part of my PhD in women's health and aging. I'm Dr. Wendy Sweet. My PhD was in women's health and aging, specifically the menopause transition. And from those doctoral studies, I've been able to put together 12-week programs, which you can read about on the My Menopause Transformation website. There's one that's specifically for weight loss called Transform Me, and yes, it's got symptom solution in there as well. And there's another one called Circuit Breaker for thinner, leaner women. So over the weekend, if you've got time, jump on the My Menopause Transformation website, do the symptoms quiz, sign up for the newsletter, and come and join me if you can.